Solving systems with nonlinear equations also allows us to use the addition-elimination method. So for our first example, using this technique, we're going to work with the system of 4x squared plus y squared equals 13 and x squared plus y squared equals 10. Now this is the combination of a circle and an ellipse. We haven't talked much about an ellipse, but this right here is what we call an ellipse. You're going to notice it has a similar format to a circle, but there's some techniques that we're going to need to use to look at those in future classes. So when you're using the addition-elimination method, same as it was before, you're trying to pick a variable to eliminate that we could add these two together. That's the one I want to eliminate. So instead of adding, I'm going to subtract. And I'm going to get a 3x squared equals 3. And now when I divide both sides by 3, I get x squared equals 1. And you have to remember that when I take the square root of both sides, I get a plus or minus 1. So I have two values for x that will make this equation or this system true. I need to find the y values that correspond to that. All right. So when x equals a positive 1, I need to plug that into my equation. Just pick one. And I'm going to get that y squared equals 9, or again, y equals plus or minus 3. And so what this is telling us is that this is telling us that when x equals 1, I have two places where these graphs cross. So two of the solutions in my system are going to be when x equals positive 1, positive 3, but also when x equals positive 1 and negative 3. I still have to check what happens when x equals negative 1. So if I plug a negative 1 into that equation, you're going to notice that you're going to get the same values. That's okay, because with a circle and an ellipse, they're going to intersect in more than two places. So not only do I have 1, 3 and 1, negative 3, but I also have the solutions negative 1, 3 and negative 1, negative 3. All of these four are solutions to my system. And again, that's because what I have is I have an ellipse that goes like this, and then a circle that goes through it. I know that's kind of a weak mini sketch, but these are the four places. And so this would be what happens when x equals negative 1 and positive 1. So it's just a quick little picture of if I'm thinking about like an x and y axis, then when x is negative 1, I have two y values, and when x is positive 1, I also have two y values.